Tesla Model Y owner explains why she tried filling it up with gas. They say old habits die hard, and that definitely applies to first-time electric vehicle owners. The habit of pulling up at a gas station to fill up your car is hard to shake, and that's exactly what a Tesla Model Y driver from the UK experienced earlier this month. Much to the amusement of other motorists, 22-year-old Danielle Wright was filmed pulling up at the pump and then frantically trying to locate the vehicle's fuel filler cap. With the fuel nozzle in hand, she circled the car to find the fuel cap door, and she only gave up when people repeatedly told her it's an electric car. The video obviously became viral, and as you can imagine, some of the comments posted online were far from polite, with some calling the Tesla driver dumb, and others claiming the video was staged. Even Tesla CEO Elon Musk responded to the video, noting that it happens from time to time and that habits die hard in a Twitter post. Given all the unwanted attention, the video got more than 40 million views. The confused Model Y owner felt the need to explain why she ended up trying to fill up her EV with gas. Speaking with the Daily Star via Teslarati, Danielle Wright, who describes herself as a digital creator, said she had had a long day when the video was taken. She added that her Model Y was also very new then, so old habits kicked in. "I honestly don't know what I was doing. It was the end of a long day and the car is brand new. I just rolled up into the petrol station thinking about the sweets I was going to get from the counter rather than the fact my car doesn't actually need petrol," she explained. Wright also said she was frustrated by some of the comments to the video, although she admits it was an embarrassing mistake. She added that she was most frustrated by comments claiming the car wasn't hers. "They were even saying it's not my car and I've got more money than sense, which was probably the most frustrating. I've earned every penny to buy this. And I love cars. It really is a dream come true to own a Tesla," Wright said. Speaking of Tesla, she enjoyed the attention from the EV maker's CEO. "I mean, Elon replied and stuck up for me and he's meant to have the biggest brain in the world," she said. Check out other similar incidents. Woman sure Tesla Model 3 runs on gas, is determined to fill it up. Forget trying to gas up a Tesla. This act of bagging gasoline is nuts. Source: reposted and summarized from Dan Mihalascu at Inside EVS. Tesla ships EVs from China to Canada again. Tesla is reportedly moving another load of its China-made EVs to North America. This marks the second shipment across the ocean that will eventually make its way to Canada. Back in November 2022, Reuters reported that Tesla was considering shipping electric cars from China to the US, which likely had many people upset. When Tesla first opened its Giga Shanghai, there was speculation it would eventually become the company's most successful factory and end up shipping China-made cars to our shores. Tesla CEO Elon Musk was quick to respond to a tweet from Reuters about the November article, calling it false. False in November 2022 doesn't necessarily mean false today, but it would come as a surprise if Tesla was suddenly delivering China-made EVs in the US. However, it seems Canada is fair game, as Musk didn't actually respond to any tweet about Tesla shipping its EVs from China to Canada. Tesla's Giga Shanghai produces the Model 3 and Model Y for the domestic market, but it's also the company's primary export hub. It ships EVs to Europe even though there's now a Tesla factory in Germany and many other parts of the world that don't have Tesla factories. So perhaps Canada is now joining the list. As Tesla's German factory ramps up, and it potentially builds a second European factory, it may not need to rely so much on Giga Shanghai for shipments to the continent. Giga Texas is also ramping up, and Tesla will eventually open a new car factory in Mexico. So using the China factory for exports to North America could be temporary. It seems it would make the most sense if Tesla got to a place where it could rely on China-made exports to all other areas that don't and may never have Tesla factories. At any rate, Reuters reported again in April 2023 that Tesla's China-made EVs were coming to the US, and it was partially correct. The shipment did arrive at a port in Washington state. However, the cars were bound for Canada. Fast forward to the present, and a similar logistics report reveals that a ship loaded with Tesla EVs already departed from Shanghai and is headed to Canada. Tesla Model Y RWD to be exported to Canada from China. It wouldn't really make sense at this point for Tesla to sell China-made EVs in the US thanks to the new US federal EV tax credit that's part of the Inflation Reduction Act. However, this may also mean that the US EV maker doesn't want to sell those cars in Canada since they qualify for a credit on our shores. Fortunately for EV buyers in Canada, its incentive program doesn't have rules that mandate local production. So the cars can come from anywhere. Source: reposted and summarized from Stephen Loveday at Inside EVS. Ride-share driver suing Tesla for EV's unintended acceleration. A driver who once worked for Revel, a ride-share company, has blamed Tesla for the unintended acceleration of its EV. He's suing Tesla since he says the vehicle he was driving took off suddenly and unintentionally, which caused him to crash the car. This is one of many mounting claims against Tesla for unintended acceleration. However, thus far, it has been proven time and time again that the driver was at fault. Almost indefinitely, the driver never pushed the brake pedal, but pressed hard on the accelerator pedal by mistake. It's gone so far that regulators in China have demanded Tesla push an over-the-air update to add new safety features. Tesla's EVs, much like most electric cars, have regenerative braking systems that allow the driver to drive with only one pedal, the accelerator. The regulators in China believe this greatly increases the chances that a driver would slam on the accelerator when aiming to slam on the brake pedal. The regulators have asked Tesla to allow the one-pedal driving feature to be manually turned off, and to show alerts in the car when and if a driver presses hard on the accelerator pedal. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration (NHTSA) looked into over 200 reported Tesla crash incidents reportedly involving unintended acceleration. The organization found that all the incidents were a result of human error. The drivers accidentally used the accelerator pedal in an attempt to stop the car. With that said, this former Revel driver claims it wasn't his mistake. AKM Shamsuzaman filed a suit with the New York State Supreme Court stating that on January 29, 2023, the Tesla vehicle he was driving jumped forward on its own. As shared by Teslarati, his lawyer told Business Insider, he had his foot on the brake. He put the car into drive, took his foot off the brake, and then the car jumped forward. The former Revel employee claims that once he took his foot off the Tesla's brake pedal, he lost control of the EV. He says that even after he put his foot back down on the brake pedal, the car was still out of his control. He couldn't stop it or put it into park. So he had to crash it on purpose to avoid hitting pedestrians. The lawyer added, he had to crash the car to get it to stop. Thankfully, the driver wasn't injured, and no one else was involved in the incident. He's seeking undetermined damages due to the incident. Source: reposted and summarized from Stephen Loveday at Inside EVS. Watch Tesla's FSD Beta 11.4.1 Ignore pedestrian on marked crosswalk. A short video of a Tesla with full self-driving activated is doing the rounds online, adding more controversy to the ADAS that has received more than its fair share of criticism ever since its first deployment in October 2020. The footage shared by Whole Mars Catalog on Twitter shows a Tesla with the latest FSD Beta 11.4.1 update driving in sunny weather with perfect visibility in a suburban area in California. As the Tesla approached a pedestrian crossing at 28 miles per hour, we can see that a pedestrian had already started to cross the road from the left when the car was roughly 50 yards away. It's worth noting that the crossing was well marked with signs on both sides of the road, in addition to having the traditional lines painted on the asphalt. So what did the Tesla do? It saw the pedestrian, then hesitated a bit, noticed that the speed started to decrease at one point. But instead of applying the brakes, it continued driving, passing the pedestrian by as they had almost reached the middle of the crossing. YouTuber Whole Mars Catalog appeared to be thrilled with how FSD Beta proceeded, though. One of the most bullish exciting things I've seen on Tesla. Full self-driving Beta 11.4.1. It detected the pedestrian, but rather than slamming on the brakes, it just proceeded through like a human would, knowing there was enough time to do so, he tweeted. As Jalopnik pointed out, that's not at all exciting, it's clearly dangerous behavior. And an obvious violation of traffic laws. A driver approaching a marked crosswalk is required to yield to pedestrians, and the fact the Tesla didn't even attempt to stop is a big problem. Especially since the car's display shows the system detected the pedestrian. In a series of replies to his original tweet, Whole Mars Catalog argued the Tesla started slowing a little bit in case it decided it needed to brake but saw it was safe to proceed. That's clearly not a get-out-of-jail-free card, and the fact no one was hurt in this instance does not mean it was the right thing to do. Also, the fact some drivers do that sometimes does not mean FSD Beta should imitate dangerous human behavior. It's pretty clear that the video exposes a major flaw with the FSD Beta system. And some of the replies in the Twitter thread also reveal that some Tesla fans believe it's not that big of a deal to ignore the rules of the road. Nothing further from the truth. Source: reposted and summarized from Dan Mihalascu at Inside EVS. Tesla Model Y batteries. There's now a Tesla Model Y being produced at Gigafactory Berlin that's fitted with battery cells from BYD. This likely won't matter to the masses, but it's well worth looking into. Tesla and BYD are seen as rivals, though CEO Elon Musk has made it clear that the two competing companies are on positive terms. In fact, Musk has lots of respect for some of Tesla's China-based rivals, much like he has respect for Ford in the US, though he only sees China's brands as true competitors. We reported some time ago that there might be Tesla Model Y crossovers produced in Berlin with BYD battery cells. While this may have come as a surprise to some folks, it makes enough sense. Tesla gets battery cells from multiple sources, and it has recently started using different battery chemistries in different versions of its various models. Last year, it became known, or at least assumed, that Tesla was purchasing battery cells from BYD. Details were slim, but Electrek reported that Tesla may be using the BYD Blade battery. It's an LFP cell that's in a longer format, much like a blade. Once it was established that Tesla was actually producing cars with some form of BYD battery cells, it piqued the interest of fans and experts. As discovered on a German TFF forum, and previously reported by German publication TeslaMag. The new BYD battery cells seem to stay at their peak charging rate for much longer than CATL's LFP battery cells. The two different cell brands and formats appear to have a comparable upper charging rate, however. Nonetheless, the early assessments show that the BYD cells have a slightly higher upper charge rate, and can maintain it for a longer period of time over the higher state. In the end, this would suggest that the BYD battery cells will charge more quickly than the CATL cells. If you've checked out any of our very long and detailed EV charging curve videos articles, you likely know that this is a complex subject. There are many variables involved, and to get a real grasp on how the Model Y charges with the two different cells would require an entire charging curve analysis of each example in the same conditions. Source: reposted and summarized from Stephen Loveday at Inside EVS.